Coming up, we're having a family get-together, right? Make sure that you're there, Arya. A wife like you not showing up to see her in-laws would make a scene for all of us to laugh at. It's already happened plenty of times before now, where you come up with some reason and run off from the rest of us. This time, I want you to be there, please. Sylvia, I was never really running away from any of those get-togethers. Okay, I know that you had work or whatever going on. That's always been your go-to excuse for getting out of things. But it's a good excuse considering that I'm telling the truth about having to go to work. You can stop lying to me about that already. Are you coming this time? Are you not coming? What's going to be your answer this time? When is the gathering supposed to be happening? Next weekend? You're not going to be avoiding all of us this time. And another thing, I want to know why Brandon, of all people, would rather play your ally than side with his own mother in all of this. He is my son in our family, yet he doesn't seem to understand anything. It might have something to do with the fact that Brandon understands that I'm busy with my job a lot of the time, and that's why he sides with me. You are always going on and on about this job of yours, Arya. But your number one job as a wife is to listen to what your in-laws say to you without even letting one word slip out of that mouth. That may be how your family all operates, but that's not something I've ever heard about before. Oh, and another thing. When you come out here to see the rest of the family, don't say a word about the allowance you're handing us. I don't have a reason to talk about any of that, so don't get all antsy about it. But I do have one question regarding that allowance. How much longer do you guys need us to send you the money? Also, have you really been talking with your husband at all about it? Every time I meet with him, he never says a word to me. Are you suggesting that I've been lying to him? I've been telling him about all of the money. About things like when the next allowance will be getting to us. Well, now I'll have to think about whether or not I want to keep talking about it with him anymore. Anyhow, this upcoming gathering better have you at it. Do you understand me? You're going to be here today, right? Everyone is really looking forward to seeing you here since it's been such a long time now. They all want to see what kind of horrible wife you've become after spending all that time avoiding everyone here. Why would you say something like that? Have I done anything wrong? I'm just speaking the truth is all. We all know that you don't care at all about your in-laws and that you'd rather be off on your own, only taking care of yourself, right? But thankfully, I am a very kind and thoughtful mother-in-law, which means that I'm going to forgive you for all of that. And to make sure you understand just how kind of a woman I am, I made sure that today everyone would be eating high-end filet mignon. That's why all of my family is really looking forward to this gathering and to see you here. Oh, and since you're Brandon's wife, you're going to be filling up your stomach on all kinds of high-end salts, all right? What do you mean by that? You never seem to be able to take a hint. You are nothing like the rest of my family, all right? It would be a waste of money to let you eat some of the finest meats that I can buy. So the only thing a stranger like you will be eating today is the steak salts that everyone else could care less about. Really? Did you just call me a stranger? Yes, I did. I sure did. A terrible wife like yourself means nothing to my family, and that's why we can't even think of you as part of us. Ugh, why did my son ever end up marrying a woman like you in the first place? Besides the fact that his wife is completely useless, he is a perfect little man. Is that right? Then forget about your allowance. What? If you're going to say that I'm not your family or anything anymore, then there's no reason for me to really be sending you any more money. Huh? What are you talking about? Oh, to me, you are nothing more than a stranger, but to you, your in-laws should all be still considered your family. Well, that's just common sense, right? So you have the responsibility as my son's wife to keep that money coming to us. I completely understand your way of thinking, Sylvia. So please allow me to go and have a word with Brandon about this. Sure, go ahead. But that's not going to change anything for you. That boy will understand my way of thinking completely and won't let you get away with such a lawless action. Anyway, you better be at this family gathering today, Arya. Brandon, where are you right now?
I just finished up getting something from the grocery store, and I will be on my way home. What's going on?
I was just texting with your mom a second ago.
My mom, huh? I'm sure this isn't going to be good then, right?
Well, she started off by asking me if I'd be making it to the family gathering today. But then soon after that, she made it very clear to me that I'm not considered family to her.
Huh? She went that far with you now?
Yeah. She told me that to make her family all happy, she went and bought a bunch of really expensive filet mignon. But since she doesn't see me as a part of the family, the only thing I'll be allowed to eat is the steak salt.
Do you want to just stay home from that stupid event?
Honestly, I really don't want to go to that stupid event. But if I don't show up this time, then things will only become worse the next time around. Right? I was being honest this whole time about having work all the time and never being able to attend those gatherings. So this time I should actually go. I think the reason she said something like that to me, about me not being family to her, is because I haven't been going out to see anyone recently. Maybe it was just meant as a joke or something?
Well, if that was meant to be a joke from her, it was not a very funny one. But if you're saying that you'd like to go this time, then I guess we're going. I myself haven't really been going home to my parents all that much recently. I'd like to see them and check out how things are going there.
Check on how things are going? Just in general?
You know better than I do that there are plenty of things wrong with my mom, right? I want to go and check and see if she's been telling the truth at all to the rest of the family, or if she's still hiding all her problems. In the past, lots of people had been hurt by what she was doing. So I just have to make sure things aren't getting bad again.
Is that right?
Well, I guess today we're really heading over to my parents' house then. But if there's anything that makes you want to go home while we're there, let me know right away. Then we can get the heck out of there.
Arya, you really have no guts, do you? Getting picked on by your mother-in-law is something you need to deal with as my son's wife. What were you thinking showing up here today only to turn right back around and leave like that? Are you trying to make me look bad in front of the rest of my family? I never thought that you'd actually have a plate ready for me at the dinner table filled with nothing but garlic salt. Everyone else had a nice steak and vegetables on their plates, yet I had nothing more than salt and a shot glass filled with water. What you've done hasn't only pissed me off, but it's upset your own son now as well. And when Brandon starts to get upset like that, your job as his wife is to make him settle down, all right? You really are so useless. Always blaming others for your own faults. Could you tell me why you always have to treat me like this, Sylvia? Well, there's not any kind of deep meaning to it, actually. I just happen to not really like you is all. I had made such a fine young man, and you came out of nowhere and completely ruined him. I don't want some thief like you becoming a part of my family. So why should I have to cater to you when it's much more easy to just treat you like said thief? Also, the reason my son never comes around his own parents anymore is because of you, right? Who is the real menace to this family, I wonder? I do apologize for all the times I've not been able to come out to see you all, but all those times I had really been busy with work and couldn't afford to leave that work behind. However, just because of that, you've gone and treated me like a complete stranger. Actually, much worse than a complete stranger. And now you've just gone and done it in front of everyone else in the family. I really don't want to say something like this to you, Sylvia, but that money you're being given every month is the money I've worked countless hours for. What was that? So now you're going to try playing the victim here? The only reason I gave you all that salt is because you've been getting a little plump lately. You should be very thankful that I was so thoughtful today, yet for some reason you don't seem to care at all for my thoughts on your figure. Well, if that was the case, then why salt of all things? Wouldn't that only make me fatter in the end? Ugh. I'm done with this, Sylvia. It seems that no matter what I say, no matter what I do, your way of thinking is not going to change. Would you stop trying to play things off like I'm the one in the wrong here? Since you're no longer going to view me as a part of your family, I'd like you to stop contacting me from now on. So please leave me alone. If you ever need anything from us or have something to say, bring it up with Brandon. Oh, running away from us again, I see. Well, that's totally fine with me. As long as you keep that money coming to me, I won't say another word to you. Excuse me? This month's allowance is still not entered my bank account at all. Not even $1. Did I forget to mention to you that it's your responsibility to be sending me that money each and every month since you're Brandon's wife? If you're not going to keep up with your responsibilities, then I'm going to have you divorced from my son. Now, this is just what I remember, but I believe that last time I told you that I'd stop sending you money from now on, right? Or did I perhaps forget to say that to you? I don't ever remember you saying something like that to me. And had you, I would have most definitely said no to that. Let me ask you something, Sylvia. Could you please tell me why exactly I have to keep sending you an allowance each month? Because I don't quite remember what the reason was, if there even is one. You don't remember? My reason is because you're my son's wife. And your primary job as his wife is to shut up and listen to what his mother tells you. Then can you please explain to me why over time you've been asking for more and more money from me? What? At the start, you were only asking for around $400 a month from me. But over time, you continued to ask for more and more until it came to around $1,500 a month. Do you really need that much money from me? I told you this already. There are still some payments left over on the loan we took out when we had part of the house reformed. And with my husband's income only, there were parts of our life where we felt a little uncomfortable because we were so close to not having enough money. I heard that reason from you before, but are you really only using this money I'm giving you on paying off that loan? What are you trying to say? Well, it's just, ever since I started to send you money each month, you've been becoming more and more outgoing and overbearing. Also, you've been trying so hard to not let your husband know anything about the money I'm sending to you. You must have another reason for why you need this money from me, and one that would upset your husband very much if he were to find out, right? There's no reason like that. But you never say anything about this to him. You still understand that, right? Well, that's too bad, because I've already brought it up with him. What did you just say? I have told you again and again not to say anything about this to him. You really are completely useless to me. Let me just say, it wasn't me that went to him about all of this. He realized that something was up and came to me asking some questions about it all. He said that he noticed how much flashier your choice of clothing had become and wanted to know from me if there was anything going on with you. He then said to me that if there is anything going on between you and my family regarding money, to let him know about it. So then, you told him about the allowance? I did. It's the truth after all. And then after telling him about that money I've been giving you, he started to tell me some things that I had no idea about. There's never been a point this whole time your husband has been paying off that loan where you've handed him any of the money to help pay it off. So let me ask you one last time, where is that money I give you every month going? You lied to me about that helping pay off that loan, also that you could milk all that money off of me, right? Recently, I've been wondering why he's been so cold around me. So this has all been because of you, huh? Don't start blaming me for your issues, Sylvia. Anyhow, I'm not going to be sending you any more money for the time being, as I do not support you going out and wasting it on things that are not related to your husband and the house. So, you have no idea what could happen to you by turning your back on me and not listening to what I've said. I'm going to make sure you and Brandon are no more. Brandon, have you finished up your work for today yet? I have something you need to listen to. Your wife, Arya, she's being a real jerk right now. She's your wife, and yet she thinks she can turn her back on me and walk away. And the things I told her to keep a secret from your father, she told him about. That was supposed to be a secret between her and I as women. She is stepping completely out of line right now. Do you not see what she's doing is totally crazy?
So, this is about the money.
Oh. So you already know about this?
Of course I do. To be frank, from the start of all of this, I was against her ever sending you any money. But Arya told me that she'd been so busy with work for a long time that she was never able to go out and see anyone from the family. So she said this was the least she could do to help you out. And that's what led me to allow her to start sending you an allowance.
What?
I'm sure that you never knew about that, did you? Well, you just went and treated her like crap and called her a stranger in front of the whole family. I was not going to stop Arya from giving you money because that's what she felt compelled to do. But then you lied to her about needing it for a loan that Dad has been struggling to pay off. Instead, you used it for yourself. We are not going to be sending you any more money ever again.
No way, Brandon! Why have you turned into such a reckless little man now? Oh, you used to be such a good little boy to me.
A good little boy? All I was to you was your puppet. A doll that you used to do whatever you wanted with.
A puppet?
I'm not lying, right? That's the truth. In the past, there was never a moment in my life where I thought I could get away with going against you. Things like what I was allowed to learn, what I was allowed to watch, what I was allowed to do. All of that was controlled by you down to the finest detail, and if I didn't do exactly as you said, then you'd throw a fit and start to make an animal of yourself.
That'll never,
Don't you dare tell me all of that was never happening. All of that time I did all those things for you and achieved all those accomplishments for you, you never congratulated me. You only cared about yourself, and when I'd do something amazing, you'd take credit for it and never even made me feel as though I did something myself. In your mind, all I was a puppet that you can use to make yourself feel good. No, wait, that's not true actually. All I was to you was your trophy that you can brag about with all your friends and family. Never actually bothered to consider how I might be feeling.
Why are you saying all of that right now? I gave you all of my love back then.
All your love? Are you kidding me now? If you're really going to call all of that love for me, then do you remember what you said to me that one day when I lost a swimming match back in high school?
I wonder what it could have been. Something like, great work, or maybe nice try? Something along those lines?
Not even close. You said this to me, Mom. You have caused me a lot of embarrassment this time, and if you keep this up, then I won't be able to brag to everyone in our neighborhood anymore. Also, later that night, you didn't make me anything for dinner, and you would not let me make anything for myself. Back then, I still thought of you as my mom, and never wanted to say anything about the way you spoke about and treated me. But after what you did this time, lying about why you needed the money and treating my wife like a joke, I'm done with you. Arya and I are both going to cut ties with you for good now.
No No way! Oh, you can't! Oh, don't leave me, Brandon. If you do that, you're going to regret everything.
And if I do regret this, then so be it. But right now, in this moment, I think leaving you for good is the best choice I'll make in my life. I'm no longer going to listen to anything else you have to say to me, just like you never listened to Arya and I. It's over with.
If people start to find out about all of this, do you have any idea what people in the neighborhood and around town will think?
Damn. So even now, with your son and his wife leaving you, the only thing you can think about is yourself and how others view you.
No, wait. Oh, that's not what I meant. That was just a reflex of sorts, and it slipped out of my mouth. I didn't actually mean to say that.
If that was a reflex of yours, then that means that you are accustomed to only thinking about yourself, and therefore do not care about how Arya and I feel. I'm done listening to your excuses. Don't ever talk to Arya and I ever again.
How dare you say something like that to your mother? I was the one that raised you, and do you feel any thanks for all of that? You're a terrible child. No matter what it is, this is all your fault. I've now gone and lost my son, who once loved me more than anyone else. And now a lot of people in my family are not talking to me and will only roll their eyes when I try and talk to them. Had you just stayed in line, never complaining about anything I was doing, and listened to me, none of this would have happened. How dare you cause my life to fall into ruins? Sylvia, you're still whining about how all of this is my fault. So none of what Brandon was telling you about actually made it into that thick head of yours? Huh? I don't want to hear any of that from you now. Especially since you're the bitch who went and took everything from me. Honestly, Sylvia, shut the hell up. I am utterly tired of listening to you go on and on about how this is all my fault and that you could never be responsible for making everyone want to hate you. Do you still think that I know nothing about the kind of indecent witch you are deep down? I know about all the things you did to your son as he was growing up, and I have to say it really pisses me off thinking that I still have to talk with you. What? Tell me what was so bad about the things I did that you'd be pissed off with me. All I did was act like a good mother and raise my boy into the man he is now. I will not let anyone complain about the things I did for him. Well, that's too bad, because I'm going to complain. I'll have you know that I freaking hate people like you. People that think they can just use other people and abuse other people and steal from them when they gain something you want. You must have no idea what it means to have some frickin' dignity, do you, Sylvia? My mom was the same way, as the matter of fact. One massive bully that I never wanted anything to do with, but was forced to live under for years. Whenever I did something amazing, she'd always say it was because of her. She would always tell me to listen to what she says, no matter how ignorant and wrong it was. And when I messed up, she would tell me I was no good and that I was embarrassing not only her, but everyone in the family. You and my mom both seem to mistake your child's life for your own, and that is so upsetting to me. I completely understand what your mother is talking about and feeling. I'm sure you frickin' do. Both of you share that same single brain cell. I'm sure neither of you have ever thought about your own kids, have you? And that's why your own kids have had to fight for their lives to fix their ways of thinking. It took me years to get over the fact that I was more than my mom's puppet and that my wants and needs mattered too. The only reason you ended up having issues like that in the first place is because you're not good enough for this world. Maybe you needed to grow a pair and actually live up to your mom's expectations. Well, I'm sure you could say something like that. But that's totally fine. Here's how things are going to end here. Sylvia, you are going to be kicked out of your husband's house, so please begin preparing yourself for the big move out of there. Huh? What do you mean I'm being kicked out of his house? Your husband is planning to divorce you now, Sylvia. And as everyone seems to recall, it's your husband that owns that house now, right? So that means after the divorce, you will no longer be allowed to live there anymore. Wait, Why do I have to be the one getting divorced here? And why do I have to be the one getting kicked out of this house? You don't know why? Interesting. Because from what I'm aware of, you've been using all the money I've sent you to lavish yourself. You've also used some of it to get yourself a younger boyfriend, right? You also ended up borrowing some money from a loan shark because I wasn't giving you all you needed to afford that lifestyle. I was planning to pay all that money back. So you can't call that money borrowed. I'm not in any debt. Oh, so there's no excuse for you paying another man to take you out? That's because to me, I'm not actually paying him to go out with me. Him and I are in love now. Honestly, I can't tell if that's a joke or not. But that's not my problem. How about you go and tell your husband about that now and see what he thinks of it? I'm sure he'd love to find out that you're in love with a younger man you've been paying to take you out. Anyway, your husband has also noticed some of your shared money being used up, so he's made sure to count all that up as well. And he's going to make sure you pay him back that amount. No way! Arya, can you please go and do something to set my husband straight? I'm sure if you go to him saying that what I've done wasn't all that bad, then he'll listen to you and stop trying to get this divorce. Oh, have you forgotten already? I'm not your family. You said it yourself that I'm nothing more than a complete stranger to you. So I'm sorry to say this to you, but I'm not that kind of a stranger. I know some are willing to do a lot for others that they don't know, but I don't have that kind of heart in me. No. What should I do here then? Well, I think the first thing you should start to do is find yourself a new place to move to. How does that sound? Can you at least get my son to think about cutting ties to me? My husband is going to throw me away, and my own son wants to cut ties to me. Brendan is the one who decided he doesn't want you as his mom anymore. So I have no right trying to say anything to him about that choice. Now it's getting to be that time where I need to head back into work. Don't talk to me ever again, Sylvia. Please, just listen to what I'm saying to you. Oh, please do something about this. Oh, please.
I'm so very sorry about what my mom had done. Had I just stood up a little taller and actually taken matters into my own hands, she wouldn't have even thought about treating you like that.
I've told you already now that you don't need to apologize for her actions. Especially since you hate her just as much as I do. You and I have completely cut ties to her now, so it's over. But I have to ask, are you going to be all right, Brandon? I get that she treated you like crap all your life, but even so, she's still your mom by blood, right? Are you sure you're not going to regret any of this?
I have no plans of regretting the choice I've made here. And even if I do, I'd rather regret what I've done with her than live the rest of my life knowing how much of a bitch she will continue to be. When I married you, Arya, my mom should have already known what was coming for her. That I would be making a family with you and that she wouldn't be allowed to follow me. Honestly, the fact that she continued to be so awful around you was kind of a blessing. Because of that, I was able to shut her down once and for all.
Oh, that's great to hear. I'm very happy to see you so excited about the choice you've made.
I hope that after making the said choice, you and I will never have to experience a person like her ever again.
I hope so too. After the divorce took place between Sylvia and her husband, she no longer had a place to live and was forced out of his house. Thinking that there was still hope for her, though, she started to go around the neighborhood asking people to let her stay with them because she was such an amazing woman. But the thing was, everyone in the neighborhood had always hated her for the way she flaunted her son like a trophy and bragged about his achievements all the time. So not a single person around was even willing to speak with her about letting her in. It didn't help that a lot of them also knew about the man she was paying to go out with her and about the feelings she had for him. So, in the end, there was no hope for her in that part of town, and she had to move on from there. She then decided it was time to go all the way back home to her parents' house, even though it's almost been a decade since the last time she was around them. There, none of her family really wanted anything to do with her and were suspicious as to why her husband divorced her and sent her away. But instead of asking her for the details, they all just kept their distance from her and moved her into the basement. Sylvia stopped going out to see that young man she said she was in love with so much, instead choosing to shut herself in, never going out very much. As for myself, my life with Brandon has gotten a whole lot better for the both of us. I've been able to focus a lot more of my time and energy into work again, and pretty soon here, I'm going to be getting a promotion. Brandon is also working hard to get a promotion, so neither of us have been around the house too much. We plan to get ourselves into some good positions within our companies and then ease up on working all the time to start focusing on making a little family of our own.
Elena, I am really looking forward to your guys' wedding coming up here soon. The idea that my older brother will be getting married has still not fully settled into my brain yet, though. What? Why are you coming to the wedding? There won't be any seats there reserved for you. What? I just said to you that there will be no seating at this wedding for people like you. No family seating whatsoever. There is not a lot of room at this wedding for people. And that's why, even if you try coming, there will be nowhere for you to sit. What do you mean there isn't enough room there for family like me? Alright, I might have been lying to you a bit there about there not being enough room physically. But there is not enough mental space for you here. You don't have a father or anything anymore, right? Well, I'm not going to have your lowlife of a mom coming to this wedding after she was thrown away by her husband. And I sure as hell won't have a little sister like you here after you've been leeching off your doctor brother. So that's why I've said there is not enough room here for everyone to come. Like the both of you. You actually think I can mentally handle two of your types coming in and ruining things for me? Did you just call my mom a lowlife? I sure did. When you think about it, single parents have always been the worst and end up having some of the most useless children. You are all just like poor people. But what if my family has been living a pretty luxurious life this whole time? I'm sorry to say, but listening to you lie to me right now isn't going to help your case. How about you take some lessons in telling lies before you start trying to get me to believe such a huge lie like that? Is that really how far you'll go to get seats at my wedding? By lying to me about how you and your mom have been living? If you both really want to be at my wedding, then make sure to bring me a decent gift. Huh? You do understand that I'm the daughter of a CEO, right? That means I've never had to worry about things like money in my whole entire life. So if you want to be allowed into this wedding, then you're going to have to bring me a gift that even I would be excited about. Unbelievable. So you really didn't write us down on the guest list or anything for your wedding? Are you freaking nuts or something? Oh man, now you're scaring me. Why would you actually do something like this? I told you the reason for this already, didn't I? I don't have the mental space for two lowlifes to be at my wedding. There's no need for you to be here anyway. I'm sure you both smell like poop since you're both so poor, and you'll start to cause issues for the rest of my guests here. I told you there would be no seats here for you, yet both my husband's little bratty sister and his depressing mother came anyway. There is no place for you guys to sit down. But I'll be kind and let you both in to stand in the far back corners of the room and watch. How does that sound? We're going home. Thank God. Cal, I'm sorry. It doesn't seem that either Mom or I will be able to get into your wedding today.
What? What's going on right now? The wedding is about to start here any minute now. Did something happen at the reception that I need to come and handle?
Well, about what happened. Your fiancée Elena told my mom and I that we were both lowlives because Mom is a single mother now, and said that we'd have to stand in the far back corners and watch the wedding because she didn't prepare any seating for us.
Huh? What the hell is wrong with her?
I'm sorry to have to tell you about what happened, but there's more to this. Let me explain.
Are you kidding me? She actually went ahead and said all those horrible things to you?
She did. I was just as shocked as you are now when it all happened. I knew she was always a pretty outgoing person and spoke her mind quite a lot, but I guess she was hiding those feelings she had for us until today. I suppose she thought that since today is the day she will marry you, she could go all out and let Mom and I have it. But that sudden change in her personality, neither Mom nor I can even believe what happened still.
There's no way she would say something like that to both of you. I can't freaking believe this. Are you still near the wedding, Leia?
Right now, Mom and I are waiting out front for a taxi to come by and pick us up.
Okay. Well, listen. Do you think there's any way you and Mom could be able to watch the wedding?
What?
Please don't be too upset. I'm not trying to toy with you both or anything like that. It's just, I feel really bad about what happened. And I don't want you both to leave just yet, until you've gotten to see me at least. And the other thing is, I will not let Elena get away with those horrible comments she made about you both. You're my family after all. And to me, my family comes before anyone else.
What? What? What are you planning to do then? You can't just marry her anymore, right?
I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. It's just that I'm a little on edge now after hearing about what Elena was saying about you and Mom. So I want her to be aware of that. I'm sure if Dad was around, this kind of thing would have never happened, right? So I want to make it clear to her that just because Dad isn't around anymore, that doesn't mean she can pick on you both.
How?
Anyway, you guys can look through one of the doors or something. Just crack one of the doors open a bit. Watch this wedding unfold, please. You can trust that I'll handle what's happened between you and Elena today, right?
I do. But just don't force yourself to do anything stupid over this. Elena, thank you so much for letting my mom and I watch your wedding from outside one of the doors. I never thought you had such a fun wedding in store for everyone like the one you threw today. I'm shocked by that kind of entertaining planning you put into that. I'm so happy my mom and I could stay and watch that all unfold. Because of that, we're both feeling very refreshed now. Would you just shut the hell up? How was any of that a part of my planning? Your ridiculous brother went and threw the wedding cake right at my face. My face is covered in layers of sticky sugar, and my wedding dress is completely ruined now. Why the hell did this have to happen to me? Today was one of the most important days of my life. Well, don't start saying things like I was involved in any of it. My mom and I were just standing outside the room watching you guys from a little crack we opened up in the door. Don't play dumb with me. Cal would never do something like that to me out of his own desires. You went and told him something or threatened him into doing it, right? You come over here right now and pay me $10,000 for both my wedding and for causing this to happen to me. Huh? You have to pay me back for this. Both you and that lowlife mother of yours caused something that led to this. You've really done it now, you two filthy leeches. I will make you both sorry for what you did to me, so I hope you're both ready for that. Huh? Are you mentally retarded or something? Why should I have to pay you for what's happened? Excuse me? I just had my whole wedding ruined today by your family. It took me a whole year to plan this wedding out and wait for today, so now I'll have to start all over again. I won't let you get away with what you've done, even if you do get your hands and knees begging for my forgiveness. I'm over this. Your brain must have gotten knocked out of your head when that cake slammed into your face earlier. Do you really think you're going to have another chance at marrying my brother now? Huh? What the hell does that mean? I meant exactly what I said. You're not going to get married anymore. From here on out, you'll be rotting in hell like the rest of your kind. What the actual hell? I have no idea what you're going on about. How about you come over here and start giving me the money I'm owed for this ruined dress? Cal, when are you going to be coming back over here? You never came home last night, and I need to know where you've gone and when you'll be back. You were supposed to be here taking care of me after what happened yesterday. Are you trying to get me to start suspecting you of something?
You're so annoying. It's 8 in the morning and you're already whining like a little dog. I'm not sure if you're aware yet, but I'm trying to get some distance from you. That's why I'm staying at a hotel right now.
Why are you trying to get away from me? Do you not feel any sympathy for me after what you did yesterday? You need to come home and say sorry for all of that. Now come on. Do you not have any common sense?
You're the one that seems to be lacking in that department. Don't start thinking that you're totally innocent in all this.
What? What are you going on about?
Stop it with the games. You went and said some very terrible things to my mom and her sister, right? I heard all about that. Calling them both lowlives and saying they've been leeching off of me? There were other things you called them as well, but I'm not going to get into detail right now. And what's the whole deal with you not reserving them any seats at the wedding and telling them to go stand in the corner and watch? I was a real idiot for leaving you in charge of all my guests at the wedding. After doing all that crap and still not apologizing to me for it, who the hell do you think you are?
What? How about you calm down a little bit?
You really think I can calm down right now, after what I heard and witnessed?
Oh, wait, but isn't this all really strange to you? Why am I being painted as the bad guy here? I never even did anything wrong, and you're all coming at me like I've been a problem.
Are you serious?
I was never verbally harassing either of those two. All I was saying was the truth about them, and that was it. They have both become parasites and latched onto you the moment you became a wealthy doctor, right? So I'm just calling a couple of nasty parasites some leeches because that's what they are. So what's wrong with that? Getting upset with me over speaking the truth is a little bit childish of you, to be honest.
Alina.
Listen, Cal. There is no need for two smelly lowlives to be coming into something as formal as a wedding. This is supposed to be one of the most amazing times of my life, and I don't want it being trashed by them. They would start to cause problems for my guests as well. So I made the right choice by not preparing any seats for them. I know that in your case, Cal, having to live a life of poor person before becoming a doctor was tough, right? You must have hated to live with those two idiots. I'm not trying to speak for you or anything, but I can just tell that having to call two lowlives like them family must have really damaged your pride.
Shut the hell up, you bitch.
What?
The fact that you just started to ramble on and on like that about me and my family? You want to know why the hell I'm a doctor right now? Do you want to know how I got into medical school and everything? I got in because of what those two did for me. I can't even begin to describe the kind of anger I'm feeling right now after the things you said about the two people that got me where I am today. You really lost your humanity at some point before this wedding. I will never, ever forgive you for saying such horrendous things about my family. That's it. We're through. It's freaking over, you asshole.
What? What? Are you leaving me now? How could you say you're going to leave me now after something as small as what happened yesterday? What's gotten into you, Cal? Ever Ever since yesterday, you've really changed. So do we need to take you in to have your head looked at or something?
Excuse me?
Everything you just said to me, it was out of line. It's like you've been brainwashed or something. You would never say things like that to me. I'll make sure we get to the bottom of what's happened to you because none of that is really what you want.
Hold it right there. Listen to me, for God's sake.
Tell me what hotel you're staying at right now. I'll come and get you. Cal still hasn't come home to me. And he started to say that he wants to leave me now, which is way too uncalled for from him. Do you know anything about this? I keep trying to ask him where he's at right now, but he won't even respond to me. Funny how you're coming back to talk with me again, after all the things you said to me before. I really can't be asked with you. Come on. Both you and Cal are insane. I was just telling you and your mom the truth, and you both are acting like I've gone and verbally harassed you or something. Both of you need to stop acting like victims of a crime and get over it. Now listen, I do not have the time to care about how you feel. I'm worried about where Cal's at. I need to have him taken to a hospital right away so they can look at him. They should be able to help heal whatever kind of mental illness he has now, right? Because there's no way he was being serious when he brought up a divorce. Cal is never going back to you, and this has nothing to do with him being mentally unwell. Now, would you stop trying to make your warped imagination a reality? What he said to you is how he really feels now, because he just had to witness the woman he loved and trusted turn her back on his family and make fun of them. What? Right now, Cal is working on getting the divorce all figured out with his lawyer, and they will later be talking about a settlement. It would really help everyone here if you would just get to grips with yourself and start taking responsibility for your actions. You are far too old now to be acting like a 5-year-old. A settlement? That's right. It's because of you acting like a total nut job on the day of your wedding that the whole thing went downhill for everyone, and this divorce had to be brought up. So he's going to make sure you pay for the time he's wasted on you. I have no idea what you mean. I didn't do anything wrong. What the actual freaking hell has been going on here? I could have you all sued for defamation. I like that your little brain is all right with you saying that about us, after you'd already gone and slandered both my mom and myself. I was just telling the truth to you that whole time. How the hell is me telling the truth about you both slander? You were calling us parasites, lowlives, smelly, and disgusting. Did you forget about all of that? Well, it's true. Your mom had her husband run away from her, and your father left you behind as well, forcing you all to grow up in poverty. I shouldn't have to worry about people like you. And considering the fact that you both, your mom and you, have not become anything to the society, I need to make sure that my Cal doesn't get corrupted by you both any longer. You both just want him for his money, and I will not allow that. I know all too well without someone like him, you both won't be able to survive. Listen, Alina, do you really think that my father just got up one day and left us? Huh? You want to know why our dad isn't around anymore? That's because he's 6 feet under. He died in a car crash a long time ago, and so this family was left in the hands of my mom from then on. And when you were calling my mom poor all that time, did you say that knowing she's the CEO of her own company? And that I'm the vice president there? What? What? And I'm going to guess that my brother already told you about my father's death, right? He got into a really bad accident and sustained some terrible injuries that he wouldn't be able to heal from. He had always been one of the nicest people I'd known, and the best father. Had my father had someone to help him right away at the accident, he would probably still be here with us. But this was out in the middle of nowhere, and it took almost an hour for any emergency services to arrive to get him. By that point, it was already too late, and there was nothing that could be done to revive him. My father may be gone now, but it was because of him that my brother and I became the people we are today. So, this means he didn't throw you all away and ran off? Not a single person ever said anything like that about my father. How the hell did you come up with such a stupid story as that? But, There's no way that you guys are actually running a company now after that. This company happens to be the company my father left behind. But after he passed away, there was no way my mom could take on the whole company alone. So she employed my help to come in and run things as well. Huh? Then why didn't she give the company to Cal? Normally, the company would go to the oldest son next, right? Why did your mom and you end up with the company? Cal chose the path of becoming a doctor, and nothing was going to take him off that path. He was thinking about taking over the company at first, but my brother remembered that my father was so excited about him becoming a doctor someday, so he chose to fight on with his already chosen goal in mind. That's why I took this company with my mom. Were you able to understand that? Because if so, then you should understand the predicament you're in now. You were just calling both my mom and I lowlives, making fun of us like we had nothing and were nothing to this world. But that's just not the case at all. The only person out of everyone involved here that is actually mentally unwell is you, Elena. For thinking that just because my mom is a single mother now, and I was raised by her, the both of us were lowlives. And I'm going to tell you right now, that kind of mental illness you have right there cannot be fixed by any doctor, no matter who you try going to. Shut up! I've actually got money myself, so stop thinking you're the only one who has anything. I already know what you're saying is all a lie. And even if you did get a company from your dad, it's probably in ruins now because your mom and you don't know the first thing about running a company. A company that had to be run by a single mother and her little bratty daughter had no chance of succeeding. You guys were probably making around $5 a day with that company before it crashed. Well, I'll have you know that unlike your little crappy and sinking company, I am the daughter of a man who runs a massively successful company. I am leagues above the both of you in terms of both power and influence, so stop trying to act all high and righteous. Lowlives like you don't get to say anything to me. Now, I'm going to find my husband and make sure we both say goodbye to your dumbasses forever. Even after all that time I put into explaining our family, you still don't seem to get it. I feel sorry for those who had to raise you. I feel sorry for Cal for having to be raised with you. I have enough money to actually be able to pay off whatever settlement will be coming my way, so I'm not even worried. But you lowlives won't even have a penny to hand over when I come after you for trying to defame me. And get this, the divorce is not going to be happening anyway, so I don't have to care about paying Cal anything. This is getting so tiring. You don't seem to have a very good comprehension skills when it comes to things like listening and reading. So the only other thing I can try doing is showing you the reality of the situation. Huh? I mean, you're having a hard time reading what I'm sending you right now, right? So it's better that I just show you what's going on here. And what I'll be showing you will make you regret making fun of my mom and I for the rest of your life. Leia? I must have had a few little misunderstandings along the way. I am so freaking sorry for everything I did and said. I promise to be a lot more careful from here on out, so please, let's get along with one another again. What happened to you? What you're saying right now is making me feel all queasy. I'm sorry, but if you're trying to get on my good side now, it's already far too late for that, and you will be punished. I'm not trying to get on your good side. I'm just... Your father was dismissed from being the CEO of that company, and now it looks as though your family is falling into disarray. I can understand coming all this way looking for my forgiveness now. But after all those things you said and did to me, how come you're coming back to me now? Do you have no pride in your abilities as a former CEO's daughter? I totally forgot. You have a hard time comprehending both listening and reading, so I shouldn't waste my time talking too much here. If you already know that we're in trouble, go and do something to help us. I won't, though. I don't care about any of your family. And this is part of what you deserve for being such a toxic mess. This is also part of what happens when you pick a fight with the parent company of the company your father was the CEO of. We've been helping you guys this whole time by keeping that company afloat and everything. But you all showed no respect for our hard work, so this is what'll happen instead. And well, You do understand that in the past, had it not been for my mom stepping and buying shares in your dad's company, he would have lost it? Too bad you were calling your dad's savior a lowlife and a parasite. Luckily, just like myself, my mom is not too kind to those that do not appreciate what she's done for them. Well, I'll just have my dad fire me. Then you can let my dad continue to be the CEO of that company, right? He isn't to blame for any of this. The reason your father needs to be taken out of his role is because children take after their parents, right? And neither my mom or myself want someone running that company when they've ended up raising such a childish asshole as yourself. My mom went ahead and talked with the board members at your father's company, and they all agreed that a man like him should not be at the top anymore. It's not like you play a role in anything anyway, considering you're just a lousy paper pusher. So why get rid of you? Please help us out here. If you don't, then my family will all have to rely on me, and I'll most likely have to leave this company as well. I don't want to have to live a life of poverty with my family. I am not playing your games anymore, you idiot. You were just making fun of my mom and I days ago because you, for some goddamn reason, thought we were both poor. So you know what you get for making such a stupid mistake? You get to live out the reality you wanted for us, yourself. All right. You are a very biased freak who isn't even worth trying to talk with because your ideas about one others will never change. I tried my fair share already with you, yet you never changed. So this is the next step. You have to be broken down physically and mentally by watching as the parents you always bragged about crumble. You are all going to be punished for your actions, and hopefully someday it turns all of you into some decent freaking people. I'm your sister-in-law, aren't I? Help me, please. I promise to play nice from now on and never make fun of any single mother families ever again. Huh? Did you just say I'm your sister-in-law? Oh, please. Once my brother is done divorcing you, all you'll be is a complete stranger to me. And the talks about divorce have already been going on for a bit now, right? So really, it's already feeling like I've never known you before. And thank God I won't have to hear from you ever again. Because after you lose your job and have to pay my brother a settlement, there'll be nothing decent left about you. I hope this will help writing all that rot out of you someday. If this happens to me, I won't be able to pay rent in this apartment anymore. And I won't be able to buy any more brand bags. I don't want to lose my home and have to live in the streets as a low-life hobo. Please, Leia. I'll do anything you want. Please, just let my dad stay CEO of that company at the very least. I'm sorry, but there is no spot on the top of that company for your father to sit in anymore. Especially now that we're all aware of the low-life wretch he has for a daughter.
Leia? I know a lot has been going on with me recently, but I am able to finally say that I was able to get the divorce from Alina.
Really? That's wonderful news. I was worried about if you'd really be able to pull it off after only just getting married.
Well, she was the daughter of a CEO, so it took some fighting between our lawyers before something could be settled upon. I'm just lucky that the lawyer I have does really well in these sort of divorce cases and was able to pull it off. I was also worried a bit about her trying to take half of my things in divorce, so my lawyer worked hard to make sure she'd have to pay a settlement out for defaming my family.
I see. I'm not sure if it's really right for me to say something like this, but congratulations.
Thank you. But that is a little strange to hear after a divorce such as this. To think that Alina was really that type of a person. I was blinded by the love I had for her for such a long time. But when I finally started to see again, there was really nothing good about her. I'm sorry I didn't notice the truth about her sooner, Alina.
How?
I wasn't looking at the whole picture up until something major happened, and that's my fault. I wasn't able to protect my sister and my mother from a bully like her. I really need to get better at being the man of the family.
It wasn't your fault, though. I didn't really notice anything wrong with her at first either. We were both fooled by her.
I really want to hurry up and become as amazing of a man that my dad was. After he passed away, I finally realized just how good of a man he was and how great of a father he was.
But you're already very awesome, Cal. You are already running your very own family clinic. And you get so many people praising you online about how well you take care of them. You need to have a little more confidence in yourself because of all that.
Ha ha ha. Thank you. Because of you, I'm back to being a lot more free again and not tied down by Elena. But look, shouldn't you become a little bit more free yourself here, Leia?
What do you mean?
You had always wanted to work a job in design, right? Dad's company doesn't have anything to do with things like design, so shouldn't you go out and start doing what you love? Mom has even told me before that she wants you to leave the company and go live your own life now.
Mom said that?
Thank you for taking care of Mom in my place ever since I went to school. But Mom is not the kind of person that needs you to be around her all the time. So it might be best that you spread your wings now. Also, wouldn't it be best that you go out and experience something new anyways? I'm sure life working for that company has gotten pretty stale, right?
Now that you mention it, that's a really good idea. And after seeing how someone like Elena turned out, I need to break free from being a part of the family's company. If I continue to stay here getting all this power being the vice president, who knows what kind of biases I'll start to develop. This is a good chance for me, I'm sure. At least, I hope it is.
Leia, you really are such an understanding person. And I'm sure that by having you deal with Elena like that for so long, you're emotionally tired, right? I'm so sorry for that.
Well, you don't have to feel sorry for that anymore. I'm able to handle my own emotions and know when to cut them out when dealing with certain people. But thank you for thinking about me. Because of that, I was able to help free all of us from her. And now I have a chance to break free myself. I'm going to find a new job. I'll go join some design company and gain experience in another part of life. And someday, when Mom is wanting to retire, I'll take that company from her and make sure to carry on her and Dad's legacy.
That's what I like to hear. I'm in full support of anything you choose to do next, Leia.
Elena, along with the rest of her family, lost all their jobs. She had to then pay Cal the settlement he had asked for after defaming my mom and I. And then she had to leave her apartment and begin her life of being homeless. With her behavior being the main cause for all her troubles, I don't see there ever being a chance of another large company hiring her. So who knows what she'll be doing next. When it comes to myself, I was able to get hired by a designer company. Not only will I be working in my dream field of designing things like brands, but I'll be learning a lot more about what it's like working as an office worker. And I hope that with all these new skills and experiences I gain, I become an even more successful woman in the future. Gia, your wedding is coming up next week, supposedly? That's right. I'm really so excited for it that I can't wait much longer. Well, I'm sure that a lot of people are excited for something like that. But, to tell you the truth, what you're about to do getting married before me is pretty audacious of you. Did you not put any thought into things before you chose to get married? What? Put any thought into what? Thought into waiting for me to get married first so that you could then step up and have your wedding. Well, but I was proposed to, right? I was handed an engagement ring and then asked by my fiancé to get married to him. I wasn't just going to say no to him because you wanted to get married first. You really thought that I'd think about you being married before I could when I said yes to him? I really did think that. And honestly, telling him that you were waiting for your sister-in-law to get married first before you had your marriage would have been far more romantic. How would something like that be romantic? Nothing about that would be romantic. Another thing I've been really thinking about is how you're already getting married. You don't look nearly as good as I do, nor are you very ladylike, so why do you get to have your wedding before me? I don't even see how you found someone willing to marry you in the first place. Well, it must be because your fiancé doesn't have good taste then. Did you just call me ugly there? And not very ladylike? I suppose the reason I haven't been proposed to yet must be due to my status. Your status? That's right. Compared to all you other women, I'm on a completely different level. My position is so high up that most of the men around me don't think they'll be able to get my hand in marriage. And that's why they go for you less attractive women. Really, you could say that I'm too far out of all these men's reach. Out of all these men's reach? You know what? I think you're absolutely right. Just like you were saying, you are of a much higher status compared to the rest of us. Right? It really is tough being this perfect. You happen to be a very cheeky woman. You are nowhere close to the kind of woman I am. Yet, you went and found yourself a man to marry before me. Well, I guess I really just never put any thought into the fact that I'd be getting married before you. It's not that I didn't care about you or anything, just I didn't think that it was a big deal. Huh? So you never once thought about anything I've been talking about? You have not been thinking about me at all? Like, you don't care about me? What? No, wait, that's not what I meant by that. So even you're treating me like an outcast now? So now that I brought up my more superior position, you're going to try and lie your way out of this by saying you've never really cared about me? How about you stop acting like a child and face the truth, alright? I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any of that to be personal, but rather I just meant that I didn't think about you at the time I was being proposed to. Normally, I very much do think about you and how you feel. But the fact that the man I love said he wanted to get married totally made me focus on only him and our marriage with one another. Would you give it up trying to make those lousy excuses? You're trying to make me an outcast right now, aren't you? You don't like me at all because I'm better than you. I can't believe the audacity of you ugly women. That's not what I said to you. No more excuses. I have not liked you one bit for a long, long time now. Well, so be it. I hope you continue to look forward to that wedding of yours. I'll make sure to celebrate it with every bit of strength that I have. You're scaring me a little, April. April, what is that you just handed to me? What? You should know what that is just by looking at it. It's a bouquet of flowers just for you. I know that you are very, very excited about your big day today. And although the wedding hasn't started just yet, I thought I'd give you my gift to you now. I really hope you love those flowers. Thank you very much, April. I'm so happy to have gotten these from you. But, these flowers, they smell a little off. Something about them smells sour, and I'm not sure what that could be. Like, they're starting to rot, but they don't show any signs of being that old. Well, you're right about that smell. Those flowers happen to be a bit poisonous to some animals, so that smell is just a part of that species. They are all so pretty though, right? They all look to me like the perfect present for you on such a big day as this. So they're poisonous flowers. Well, you can definitely tell that they are not normally given as a gift. There are a lot of black dots in the center of some of the flowers as well. Did they get splashed with some black ink or something? Gia, are you complaining about the flowers that I just gave to you? You have to understand that something complaining about the gift I just gave to you is very rude and hurtful. Would you please be a bit more appreciative of the gift I handmade for you at the flower shop? The flower shop made this? Well, you are totally right. There is no reason I should be complaining about these lovely flowers you've given to me today. Thank you so much for the gift. All right. That's what I've been wanting to hear. The fact that you're going to be getting married before me is totally obnoxious. I just hope you enjoy your wedding today and make my brother happy. And congrats. Now, please go put those beautiful flowers out somewhere for everyone to see. Thank you. You are definitely up to something right now. Take great care of them, you hear? Hey, Landon, do you have any spray on you?
Spray? Ah, like some deodorant or something. I have some on me.
No, not that. Like some spray paint or something?
Spray paint? You do realize that we're nowhere near my house right now, and we're supposed to be having a wedding here in a bit. You're out of luck if you were hoping I'd have something like that on me.
Gosh darn it, you're no use then.
Are you really trying to make it sound like you thought a man like me would carry around spray paint to a wedding? Men don't even normally do something like that. What do you even need a can of spray paint for anyways?
I'm sorry. It's a little bit hard for me to explain right now. Well, to put it simply, I think that your older sister is trying to cause me some trouble right now. And I mean in a purposeful way, not on accident.
Huh? What do you mean she's trying to cause you some trouble?
Can you just come over to the changing room for 2 seconds?
What? I can come there, but what is this all about? That stuff smells awful.
Right? These flowers are the worst smelling things I've ever had the misfortune of smelling.
Well, at least now I have an idea what's been going on. So it was my sister that ended up giving you those as a gift? Well, I was assuming something like this would start to happen eventually. You know, my sister has always been very jealous of you, right?
Oh, thank God. So you believe what I'm saying then, right?
I believe what's going on here. My sister has always been a bit on the crazy end. Normally she can be pretty funny with how she talks and acts, but sometimes she takes things a little too far and can make some people think she needs to be put in a loony bin.
That's the kind of vibe I get from her as well. I get that she might be a bit entertaining at times, but for the most part, her behavior is terrible.
That's true. She honestly does have the worst behavior. But can't we both agree that this was the best kind of outcome for you? She could have done so many worse things to make you feel bad. But instead, she chose to give you a bouquet of poisonous flowers.
Huh? What are you talking about, Landon?
She could have taken things a lot farther by tearing up your wedding dress or even spilling wine on your head. Because she didn't do any of those things, I think we're lucky. I mean, the changing room is a bit smelly now, but at least that's the only issue that came from this.
You must be really bad at measuring the severity of what she's just done here. My wedding dress, although not torn up or anything, smells terrible now. And since it's a rental, I'm going to have to try cleaning that all out, or else I'll have to pay a large fee.
Ah.
I can't even go out there in a dress like this, or else everyone else will be put off. That's why this is still a very big problem for me. There are some staff here going out to find me another dress to wear right now. But I'm still going to have to pay a fee on this stinky dress, and I'll have to pay for whatever new dress they find for me.
I'm sorry. I wasn't really thinking about all of that. I get what you're saying now. Since that's all going now, my sister really did it this time. But all of that doesn't really explain what you wanted the spray paint for.
I was thinking of repaying the favor to her after she gave me this wonderful gift. And as you can smell now, the smell from those flowers is only getting worse. Well, those flowers are still potent with that disgusting smell. I'm wanting to give her them back as a gift.
While they're still potent?
When she handed them to me, they weren't all too smelly. But they were a little bit sour smelling, but I thought that might have just been my imagination or something. But once I sent them down in this room with me, they began to open up even more, and that smell filled the whole changing room. Honestly, I'm not really even sure these flowers are naturally that smelly. She might have put something in them, like some kind of oil that started to make that smell. So while these flowers are still stinky, I was to hand them back to her. She was the one that brought them here in the first place, right?
I see. But when are you going to give them back to her?
I have a great idea for that. Just leave the timing up to me, please. Now, ignoring this potent smell that's filled this room, let's both you and I go enjoy our wedding.
All right. Okay then. I'm a little worried about what you have in store though.
What? What are you trying to do? My freaking dress is all messed up now because of you. What are you asking here, April? You saw it yourself, right? I used that bouquet you gave me as a gift in the wedding because I thought they were so beautiful. And since you have been saying you want to get married so badly, I threw that bouquet towards you in the bouquet toss. What the hell is wrong with you? Are you crazy or something? Why would you use the flowers I gave to you earlier for this bouquet toss? Do you have any common sense? You think that happened because I don't have any common sense? I'm not sure that's the reason why. Rather, I just didn't know anything about your flowers at the time. Sorry about that. You can't just tell me sorry over something like this. I know that you had all this planned out for me and did it on purpose, right? On purpose? Well, of course it was on purpose. After all, I was the one that aimed for you in the bouquet toss. Look what you've done! You went and changed the color of the flowers with some spray paint. You did all of that in order to keep me from realizing these were the same flowers I gave you, right? Well, when I was thinking about what color flowers normally are in a bouquet toss, yellow came to mind. I'm so sorry about that. I thought it would be alright to change those flowers' colors by spray painting them. I'm not talking about that though. But that's really strange, isn't it? When you grabbed those flowers out of the air, some black-looking oil dripped out of those flowers and got all over your dress. And not only is that black oil and pretty staining, but it smells awful, right? Tell me, what the hell is that oil all about? Do you have any idea? You really are the worst. You already know what all of this is. I really don't know. That's why I'm asking you, what is that oil all about? I just used the flowers the way you handed them to me before. Could this mean that you purposefully put that nasty smelling black oil in those flowers before you handed them to me? What the hell is this? Jesus! If that's really the case, then that's really, really sad of you. What's gotten into you, April? Putting nasty smelling black oil like that into some flowers before handing them to me? Hey now, I did not put that oil in there, all right? I knew that those flowers have been known to be a little poisonous to animals and give off a sour smell, but I didn't do any of that on purpose. Of course. Why would you do any of that on purpose? There's no way someone like you, April, would do that to me. That's right. So please don't say anything about this to anyone else, all right? I didn't do anything like that after all. There's something else that just came to mind. I went and sprayed those red flowers with yellow spray paint, making sure not a single spot of red was showing through. Yet how, after you cut those flowers, which are still fully yellow, did you know they were the flowers I gave you before? What? Well, just by looking at them, you should have never known they were the same flowers you gave to me, right? I also made sure to mix some of the other flowers into that bouquet to make it smell better. And to not be all too rude here, but those flowers you gave me looked a lot like roses. So it should have been hard for you to identify them. Wait, that's, I knew it. So you really did put that bad-smelling oil into those flowers on purpose. I'm really sorry to have to do this, but I'm going to tell your brother and both of your parents about what you've done right now. Huh? Why would you tell them? There's no reason for you to do something like that. This is a problem between you and I right now. We have to figure out a solution to this by ourselves, right? I'm sorry, but this took place at your brother's and my wedding, with all of your family here attending it. So this time we can't call this a problem between the two of us now, can we? Hey, hold on a second. Please don't say something like that. All right, I get it now. I'll confess to what I did. I was the one that put that sour-smelling black oil into those flowers for you. I happen to have a friend friend that works in making fragrance oils. And I asked them to make one that was black and smelled worse than rotting fish. What kind of friend is that? Why would they be willing to make such an oil for you? I think you should cut ties to a friend like that right away. No, wait. They are a great friend of mine. I will say that they have been a bit too close with me on occasions, but they are still very nice. April, you are only bringing up this oil-making friend of yours because you are trying to change the main point of this discussion we're having, right? I would never do something like that. It's just, they are a pretty interesting person. Well, I'm sure you have plenty of interesting friends. Anyhow, I need to make sure that everyone is aware of what you did to me today. Why, though? You want to know why I have to? Because that horrendous smell given off by your oil ruined my rental dress. What? The dress that I had rented for today to have as my main wedding dress was completely ruined by the odor that your flowers and the oil in them gave off. There was no way I could wear that dress still out in front of everyone. So I'll make sure you pay up for the fees that I'll be asked to pay. No way. Are you serious? How badly did the dress end up smelling? I placed that bouquet on the dresser next to where my dress was hung up, and over time it started to make my dress smell like a dead and rotting animal. It was terrible. You really think I'd wear that kind of dress out for everyone to smell? I hope you can imagine how bad it smelled to me. So bad that I wanted to vomit at times. So then, how much is that dress going to cost me? $8,000 is around the amount it cost. What? Is that expensive of a dress? That dress looked like something that could be made using a couple of tablecloths that were sewn together. You must really have no clue how the real world is then when it comes to things like dress cost. I get that it was pretty simple, but up close there was a lot of embroidery done on it, and that ramped up the price by a lot. But there is no way I'm going to be able to pay $8,000 just like that. Hey, can you please do something to help me out here? Why should I be doing anything to help you? All right then. Let's talk about my dress that you ruined by throwing that bouquet at me. The dress was a hand-me-down from my mom. Oh? Is that right now? That's right. It was a dress she always wore when she was younger, and it had a lot of memories trapped in it. Ugh. You've just gone and ruined that dress of hers, Gia. Well, that is quite unfortunate. But I don't believe it being ruined had anything to do with me. However, hearing you say that it was a hand-me-down is truly heartbreaking. Right? Do you have any idea how my mom might react if I were to let her know about this? She might become so enraged by what's happened that she'll no longer let you be married to my brother. You don't want her to start speaking out against the both of you, right? You think she'd be against our marriage after having hearing about it? I hope you're prepared for something like that. Hey, Landon. I'm not able to get in touch with Mom right now. Do you know why she's not answering her phone? You were together with her right now, correct? Tell her to answer her phone when I call her.
Mom isn't going to answer any calls from you.
What? Is she busy with something right now? Damn it, at a time like this. Then I'll have to relay the message for me. You know about the dress I was wearing today, right? About how it was a hand-me-down from Mom, right? Well, that dress just got ruined because of Gia. It's all stained up and everything now.
Huh?
I'm sure Mom will be shocked to hear about this. After all, the dress was something that she wore a lot when she was younger, and it held a lot of special memories for her. Can you please tell Mom about what's happened?
And by doing that, Mom will get upset with Gia, you think? April, I know that's not what happened.
What? What are you saying?
I know that the bouquet you bought today happened to be those same flowers you gave to Gia earlier. And now you're upset with Gia because she threw back the same flowers that you gave to her. Well, this is what you get for being a little jerk. So deal with it.
You don't get to decide who's at fault here. Now, shut up already and tell Mom what I said to you. Or even better, tell her to answer the phone.
Well, she doesn't want to talk with you. Because she is beyond pissed at you right now, April.
What?
She's already left my side after hearing about what happened. and she's going to Gia right now to apologize. April, if you're still here, then you should start to head back home. That would be the best thing for you. Everyone here already knows what you did to Gia, so there's no point in trying to blame her for everything. And to be frank, not a single person here right now is happy about what you did.
What? What the hell? Are they all laughing about me now? So that's how you all are going to start making me feel like an outcast now?
Nobody is laughing about you, nor at you. We are all just disappointed with what you've done. So it's better that you just go home now. Nobody wants to see or talk to you today, including me. I think you should just go home, go to your room, and think about what you did.
What the hell, Landon? You're making it seem like I'm some kind of monster now.
Well, after what you pulled off today, you kind of are a monster.
Whatever. You are all backstabbers. I don't even want to call you my little brother anymore.
April, just calm down a little.
April, have you settled down yet? Yes. I'm back at home now. I'm sorry about what I just did. I lost my composure was all. Well, I'm happy to hear that you made it home okay. I was a little worried about how you'd end up after we had the security come and remove you. And now I'm going to have to end up paying even more money for all the decorations and furniture I broke there. Ugh. I really did it this time. And what was that? Are you actually accepting that what you did was wrong now? Well, yeah. I did some pretty stupid things today. Had I not let all my hate of you get to me today, none of that would have ever had to happen. Every time with me, when I feel like I'm being alienated by everyone else, I start to get all upset and throw a fit. Feel alienated? Back when I was in public school, I had a lot of friends start to leave me and keep their distance. That's all has left me with some very bad memories. That's why I hate the feeling of being the outcast. Even when it's just the tiniest hint of that feeling, I go berserk. And back when you said you really didn't care about me, some blood vessels in my head burst and I started to hold that against you. Which then led to me doing some stupid stuff today. And I told you back then that I didn't mean anything personal by that. I know that. It's just that my brain always makes things out to be an attack against me, and so that's just what I assumed you meant at the time. And I know that the reason why I never had any men come around me anymore is because I'm out of their league. About that. Are you sure about that? April. To break it to you in the most clear way that I can, you have an awful personality and act like a spoiled child. What? I totally get that you feeling alienated by me and becoming deeply jealous of what I had led you to acting out in a very inappropriate way. But even if we look past all that you did, you still are a very bad person behavior-wise. If you want to change the way you're seen by others, then you need to first start thinking about how others feel. I'm sure that's going to be a pretty hard thing to start thinking about regularly, but that's something everyone needs to do if they don't want everyone running away from them. How others feel? That's right. Normally, you can be a pretty entertaining person and very funny on rare occasions. I think if you were to put a little more time into taking care of your mental health and started to think about how others feel more, you'd be very popular. I'm not really sure how I can help you with all of that, but if you don't mind, after you're done paying everything off, I can recommend you to a therapist I used to see back in the day. A therapist? She's a very kind woman, and I think that by talking with her once or twice a week, she can really set you on the right path to making yourself a better person. I guess that would be a good thing to do. I'm usually always thinking about myself, and I've noticed that by doing so, I was not making things better. I had always hated being alienated by everyone, so I did everything in my power to try and keep it from happening, like pushing people away with my attitude. I really hope that at some point, I can get past always doing things like that to myself. I want you to know that I do not hate you, April. Actually, I really want to become good friends. But that doesn't mean I'm going to let you get away with what you did this time. If you can prove to me that you'll pay your dues at the end of all this, then I'd love to go out with you more often for things like coffee or a movie. Really? You're not going to abandon me like everyone else did in the past when I messed up? No way I'd abandon you after that little mess up like that. I understand why you acted out that way, and I'll forgive you soon enough. I really look forward to when you and I can hang out sometime. So make sure you take fixing some of your mental health seriously, because it will pay off. Also, I'd like to meet that friend of yours who works with creating fragrances.
Well, that was a lot of work today, Gia. We sure had a lot on our plate at that wedding. Well, I suppose in the future, having all that happen at our wedding will make for a good story. So that's nice.
Good point. It was a pretty fun time, minus the part where your sister was involved. But at least I was given the chance to talk with your sister about a lot of things.
I really hope that this will make a change in her behavior, and that she'll become a little bit less aggressive. However, this was the last straw for my mom, and I think this will lead to her cutting ties with April.
Well, your mom is a pretty serious woman.
She sure is. And there's the whole thing about how April ruined her dress, right? Gia, thank you. Seriously.
Huh? For what? Why are you thanking me now?
You took what was going on with my sister seriously and didn't just run away. I've become pretty fed up with her and was ready to join you on the chance that you did want to abandon her. Even if she is my family. Seriously, I thought that today something insane would happen between you and her, and that one of you might end up dead.
Well, come on now, I would never get that upset with her. She just happens to be a pretty entertaining, although awkward person. And well, I want to stay in touch with her. Also, after my last talk with her a few hours ago, I'm pretty happy with how she's handling things.
I heard things went well for you both there. And now my sister's going to have to pay for both that ruined rental dress and all the things she broke and smashed in her rage before being escorted out. I think all of that will really help her get a grip on her feelings.
I hope so. Now, before we do proceed with anything else, we need to make sure she actually pays all that stuff off. Anyway, Landon, there's one last thing I need to say to you. And that's thank you.
What? Why are you thanking me now?
Because you made sure to get me that spray paint I asked for. After that, April had to pay a lot of money to both the wedding hall and the rental dress place, putting her into some pretty decent debt. I think in total, all of the costs added up to around $12,000, so she went to the bank and took out a loan in order to pay everyone she needed to. Things between her mom and dad also didn't end up going well, as was expected, and they had her kicked out of their house. Although her mom was pretty much cutting ties to her at that point, her dad still wanted to make sure she wasn't going to be completely homeless. So he got her set up with a little apartment and paid for her first month there. The strange thing was, though, that by this point, she wasn't even fazed by her mom disowning her, and it almost seemed as though she understood why this was happening, which caught me by surprise. Once she was all settled into her new place, she then started to work a lot during the day at a few different part-time jobs she found, all in order to pay said loan she got off. I would say in a week she had been working around 70 to 80 hours at all her jobs and would be able to pay her loan off within a year. Also, while she had been working all the time to make money, she was also putting in a lot of work in order to change her ways of thinking as well. And a lot of people had started to say that she's not the same April they remembered her as. She's still funny and all, but those thorns she always had before had begun to go away, and that's really gone and started to make her a more relaxing person to be around. I'm really happy that what happened at my wedding was what helped her start to take her mental health very seriously and began to turn things around for her life in general. Not only was she able to realize that her mental health was bad, but she was also finally able to get out of her parents' house and start living on her own. It's been a few years now since my wedding, and it seems that April is going to get married herself. And what's crazy about the man she's going to marry is that it's her friend she told me about before who works in making fragrances. When I heard that from her, I started to laugh quite a lot. I still have not met with him before, so I have nothing to say about him. But I really hope that by having a partner now, April will really begin to succeed in life and be happy. Now, when it comes to Landon and myself, we ended up getting a little carried away and had 2 kids already. So now we're a family of 4, having so much fun with one another, and I really hope that this happens for everyone carries on in the future. But most of all, I hope that April and I will continue to stay in touch with one another as she continues to grow. Every so often we bring up what happened at the wedding, and that does seem to still bother her a little, but someday I'm sure she'll get used to the story and joke around about it like the rest of us. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.